live in the studio with Dr. Mark Baker, man, running for U.S. Congress. Now, we've spoken on some different things, some different legislations that he's passed in the past 4 years. And I got a question, man, because you always been straight up with me. I've seen you in some positions where, not saying that you could have, but I've seen most people fold in some of these situations. And I saw you stand up, chin high. And as a man, mano a mano, me telling you this right now, Dr. Baker, it definitely garnered a different level of respect for you. Now, I want to ask you your thoughts on this. How is it that our government, right, can give so many billions of dollars to so many different things outside of our country, outside of our territory? But when it comes to certain issues like, let's say, reparations, why is it that we get such a big pushback on that? Or is it not enough people in Congress where you're trying to get pushing for that?
That's a great question. First of all, I appreciate your comment about stepping to our beef and actually being in these situations. It's interesting, to actually have to sit in meetings where you want to jump out your body, but you can't, But I went to Clark, and our thing is find a way, make a way. Either find a way or make it. Right. And I think that when you do that, it teaches you one of those things to say, okay, it's not the time right now to jump out my body. Right. I got a long-term goal, and I need to figure out a way to finesse it and make it work. Because you're sitting with other people, then you need their vote. So when it talks to how we get this, that's a loaded question. The first part was about the money that goes outside of our community. That is the craziest thing ever. Although you have to pay attention to where we as a country send our money. Yes. And then you have to acknowledge the fact that there's only 59 people, again, in the whole House and Senate that look like us. 59 out of 535. So when Africa and everybody else has issues, you don't see us, in our mail is, like the way we're going crazy for the Ukrainians. And, we should be altruistic, but it needs to be level playing field. And of course, just like in my district, I'm running in my district. I live in my district. I've been there for well over 20 years. And I'm up against somebody who doesn't live in my district. The incumbent has never lived in our district. Wow. And you can't heal what you don't feel. So when you in these situations, man, and the same thing like the reparations question is like, I passed the first reparations legislation in the state of Georgia, the third in the country. And it's very little you can do on this level to do that. So we got to go there and make them feel us so that we could work on our healing. And when I talk about reparations, it's not just, hey, everybody need to cut that check. It's like we really need to work on healing, like total healing for our community. It needs to be internal and external. Internal reparations, I believe Black people should have mental health care unlimited as long as we need it. Oh my God. At least for another 400 years if need be. Because that's been our situation. And at the same time, I also feel like slavery was unearned income, and we don't talk about it enough, and a lot of people want us to fade the black on it. But if you had unearned income for over 400 years, I think that Black people or African descendants of slavery shouldn't have to pay federal income tax. Come on. So I think that those are starts. That's not it in a vacuum, but I would look more so to organizations like Cobra, who's been fighting this fight for well over 50 years, and we got to stop allowing these conversations to be so taboo. Black people even get scared when you talk about stuff like this. And it's not to be radical, but it's time to be more than radical right now. We got our people are in a crisis, and we're in crisis mode all the time. We saw what happened over the weekend. We got people just coming in and want to spray us up just because of the way we look. So we have to acknowledge and internalize, inwardly digest what's going on against our culture in this country.
Now, I just want to point something out real quickly. When we spoke of who you're running up against, you say he's been there for 20 plus years, man.
Well, yeah, he's been, before I was born, he was, elected to the House of Representatives in Georgia in 1975. Right. And, he was in 2003, he went to the state Senate. And then 1989 he went to the state Senate. Right. Been there for 20 years and went to U.S. Congress in 2003 and been there for 20 years. So now, if we're being all the way honest, he's ailing, respect to him. But, it's time to pass the baton, and I think that we can go faster and further, and it takes the wisdom of the elders and the young folks' energy, the amalgamation of both, in order to move forward.
Okay, so speaking of changing the guards, right? I saw a clip because you spoke of the tragedy that happened in Buffalo over the weekend, and it's amazing to me how the Associated Press can word things, right? So with Mike Brown, who was only 18 when he was murdered as an unarmed black man, the Associated Press wrote it up as an 18-year-old black man. With this teenager, this 18-year-old who just committed this heinous act of, man, you know what I'm talking about, over the weekend, they named him an 18-year-old teenager.
That's what you call psycholinguistics.
So who do we talk to about the changing the guards in that regards? Because the media, the way they paint it, whether it's propaganda or whatever they're using to fuel whatever, the motive is, who do we need to talk to change that as well? Because it's a when you talk about reparations, there's other things that got to come with that. You know what I'm saying? Who do we talk to when it comes to that?
I don't think it's any one sole source of communication that can solve that. It takes the changing of the mentality, the way we view each other. And I think that, I think the honorable ancestor Dick Gregory used to talk about how the dynamics of white and black impact us. Devil's food cake,
Yes, he did.
Angel food cake. That's the same thing that we still battling. And, we soften those stories in order to make messages come across, just like the white guy, who took it upon himself to hit the streets, and shoot up, or kind of like take sides during the riots, about a year or so ago. And we saw how he was treated, but that was something, and he ended up committing white on white crime, but the thing is, that was also a message to our white allies that if you want to get out here and do this stuff and stand with them, you'll be subjected to that. And I think that we miss those messages, but our white counterparts, they don't. But shout out to all of them.
That's the message. No, that's the signal.
Yeah, that's a signal to them. But shout out to all of them who still rock with us and on the front line. But it's in the schools every day is changing. Because your granddaddy can't say the stuff if you're a white guy that he used to say. Because his grandson, listen to the same music, and his best friends, look like us.
Exactly.
So it's going to be hard to keep that culture up. And I think what we are, we're the catechism of, the back and forth for that right now.
Yes. Definitely appreciate you for speaking on that. I would like for you to just give some information to our listeners, when to vote, where to vote, how to vote.
So first off, election day is May 24th. That's Tuesday, next Tuesday. Not tomorrow, but next Tuesday.
Right.
That's the primary. And this is not what they call a sexy election, because Stacey Abrams doesn't have a competitor. But we need y'all to still come out and press that button. Early voting started May 2nd, and it goes on until, I think, May 20th, this Friday. So please go vote. A lot of people were able to go out and vote this weekend, too. But it stops on Friday, and I need everybody to go out and become a part of this process. And you can visit my website, baker4congress.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Councilman Mark. But I like to just send a special shout out to everybody on Old National and let y'all know that I'm still rocking with y'all.
Hey.
We've been doing this thing for a long time, and that's where a lot of my base is. We, since the pandemic, gave out 50,000 pounds of food every single month. Had Umar Johnson, Reza Islam, Chris Cole, Robin Rue Simmons, and all of the prominent figures who help us go faster and further right there in that Walmart parking lot. And I appreciate you too, Jock. What you doing, the way that you came down and you helped us. We shut down Old National for the first time in history for a Father's Day march last year, right after they killed George Floyd. And I got to mention this because I passed the hashtag 8Can'tWait, which ended police chokeholds, and 7 other initiatives that needed to be changed immediately. But it's the work of people like you and you guys in here. Shorty, you out there too. And I've been seeing you since, for over 20 years doing your thing. It's like we appreciate this work because the young people look to y'all, and when they see y'all move, they want to move too. And that's what I try to do. And I would like to end with the words that I always use from a philosopher by the name of Tupac Shakur, who said, with all this extra stressing, the question I wonder is, after death, after my last breath, then will I finally get the rest of this oppression? They punish the people that's asking questions, and those with possessions take from the ones without possessions. The message I stress to make it stop. Study a lesson, don't settle for less. Even a genius has his questions, be grateful for blessings, don't ever change, keep your essence. The power is in the people. In politics we address. Go address those politics on May 24th. Vote Mark Baker for Congress, U.S. House of Representatives. Thanks so much, good brother.
Nah, man, thank you. Hey, we definitely appreciate you. Again, y'all make sure y'all log on to bakerforcongress.com, man. We definitely appreciate you, man. You got a road ahead of you, man. I ain't gonna say a hard road. I'm just gonna say a road because I believe that you will prevail, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Hey, y'all make sure y'all stick around because you know we keep it right here in the streets, man. Young Jock in the Streets Morning Takeover.